Welcome back into the film room. I'm your host, Erik. Today, we're going to do some breakdowns on Ryan Bates. A lot of you fans have been asking about some film work on him and his start against the Patriots, a game that I thought he played really well in. He started at right guard, then had to be shuffled to left guard as Bucker blew out his Achilles, and that alone is a feat in itself, but I thought he did a great job. He didn't really blow any assignments. I thought that he played really balanced and played with active hands in pass protection. In the run game, he was so-so as expected. He's in the mold of a Mitch Morse. He's not a guy that is going to move guys off the line of scrimmage on his own on base blocks or one-on-one blocks. You'll hear me talk about that in this film breakdown. But I thought overall he played pretty well. And I understand that a lot of fans want to see more film on him, want to see him start more games. And at this point, it really wouldn't hurt. And I think he's got a good shot. Obviously, this staff likes him. So without further ado, let's jump into the film. All right, first play we're going to take a look at from Ryan Bates is when he was at right guard early in the game. The Bills are running an inside zone to the left right here with Singletary, and he's going to cut it back to the B-side bubble right here to the right side. So the block between Mitch Morse and Bates right there has to be very good, has to get movement. And as you can see, they do a great job of getting movement off the ball, working together, keeping their splits tight, and creating that displacement that this run needs. Now, unfortunately, Singletary isn't really able to get up into the hole, but still good blocking between Morse and Bates. All right, the next play we're going to take a look at from Ryan Bates is a third down play, and on this play, the Patriots are trying to run a game. Nose tackle's jumping into the A gap, Judon's jumping into the B gap, and they're going to see Jamie Collins, the looper, come over the middle on a free run into the A gap. So a lot of communication has to happen on this play between the three offensive linemen, Morse, Bates, and Williams. And on the snap, the nose tackle holds Mitch Morse so that he can get that looper into the A gap, but look at the pivot work from Ryan Bates on this play. Initially, he picks up Judon, quickly passes him off to Darrell Williams, so good communication there. Then you see him pivot over to the nose tackle. Right there, he should be overtaking the nose tackle so that Morse can, of course, pivot out and pick up Collins, but Morse isn't able to because he's being held, and the power and strength of the nose tackle there allow Collins to get the A gap, but this three-man stunt takes a lot of time to develop, and that gives Josh Allen enough time, and especially gives Isaiah McKenzie enough time to separate over the middle, and he's able to pick it up for the first down. So good work by the Bills' offensive line here on this three-man stunt. Good communication between Bates and Williams initially, and then Bates and Mitch Morse, the center here. Just good work, and the athleticism of Bates really showing up early in this game. The next play we're going to take a look at Ryan Bates versus Lawrence Guy in pass protection, and most people will look at this play and say, wow, Ryan Bates got driven into the backfield. Luckily, Josh Allen got rid of it to Devin Singletary, which is true, but Josh was given nearly 3 seconds for this play to develop from Bates. So initially, I don't like how far he sets. You can see his helmet is kind of outside the midline of Guy right there, and his pads are a little high, but he recovers, as you'll see right here. Boom, he recovers. Now he's got really good position. As Josh is dropping back into the pocket, you can see that, he's in a good position to cut off and play that half-man relationship between where the ball is and the pass rusher. And right here, you're going to see Guy's helmet poke inside, but then I want you to watch what happens afterwards and what Guy tries to do right there. He tries switching to a power move outside. He tries throwing Ryan Bates, and you can see it affected Bates. So how well he recovers here really will make the play here. And as you'll see, boom, does a good job of redirecting that power and getting back into a position of dominance right there. And now he's anchored down. You can see the helmet and the posture from Guy. Guy has to go through Ryan Bates in order to get to Josh Allen here. He doesn't. Allen quickly checks it down, and the Bills are in the low red zone. All right, this rep from Bates is probably one of my favorite reps, and it came on the touchdown to Isaiah McKenzie. And I love it for many reasons. And to start, it's because of communication. Mitch Morse, Darrell Williams, and Ryan Bates are on the same page. Watch as Bates kicks out wide right there. You see the tackle kind of rip under, and he's just going to take him for a ride. He wants to penetrate as much as he can up the field so that possibly KVN can probably loop inside or just create some kind of disruption. I want you to watch what happens here, because normally you would want your right tackle to kind of squeeze and help out here. But he doesn't, because Williams knows that KVN may be looping. Now, of course, you got Mitch Morse, the sheriff, patrolling the middle. So he's going to help right there. So Bates, Morse, and Williams all know that, hey, this defensive tackle is penetrating up the field, and we're not passing that. We're not passing that on to Darrell Williams. I'm going to ride with him as if it's man on man. I'm going to take him and take him wherever he has to go. And where he goes is quite deep. Look at the depth that this defensive tackle gets. He's at the depth of Josh Allen. So now look at this passing lane that was created. You got the 2-on-1 now if KVN were to rush. I mean, it's locked down because of the athleticism and communication by Bates and Morse and Williams. Just great work. And then just look at how he maintains that half-man relationship. I mean, he's walking the line is what we call that. Walking the line right there. Slowly walking down the line as he's kick sliding and blocking this guy. I mean, it's very pretty here. Really athletic work here. And as I said, understanding by Ryan Bates and the Bills' offensive line. And it pays off on the back end with a touchdown to Isaiah McKenzie. So now Bates is in at left guard. Dawkins just got thrown into the lineup like 1 or 2 plays before. And just really good help technique from Ryan Bates here. Barmore is going to take an inside lane right here on Dawkins, and Bates is right there to help. Doesn't seem like a lot, but this is very important. Off the snap, he's watching Hightower and making sure he's not going to rush. And Bates has to do a good job of helping his teammates, staying on the same level with Morse, but also staying on the same level as Deion Dawkins. He does that perfectly. He's scanning right and left. He sees that Barmore is coming. He helps pick him up. Josh is able to dump it down quickly to Moss for a positive gain. So good awareness by Ryan Bates and good help technique by Bates at left guard. So watch Morse and Bates work together down the line of scrimmage as the Bills run that pop pass to McKenzie. Watch how these two right here work interchangeably on the defensive tackles, 92 and 91. Now, how far that really goes and how much it makes an impact, probably not much, I wouldn't say, but the communication between these two athletic linemen right there, look at them passing off 90, 92, see how they cross over there? That eliminates traffic and extra disruption that if, McKenzie were to get back up inside here, this is all cut off. This is all cut off. So that's good work. I mean, again, maybe didn't have an impact on this play because McKenzie was bubbled wide by Bryant, but that type of communication and athleticism by Morse and Bates is something to keep an eye on going forward. Another good rep here from Bates. He has a nose tackle in the A gap, technically an inside shade to him. What Bobby Johnson teaches is on the snap, all you need to do is get nose to nose. Put your body in between the rusher and the quarterback. And you can see he does a hell of a job of doing that. I mean, you can't even tell the difference in the helmets right there. That's getting nose to nose. Perfect work by Bates on that play. And the other part of this rep is not only the quickness out and nose to nose, but you see the defensive tackle try to, rebuff the hands of Bates right there. And right here, tries shedding his hands, kind of pulling down or chopping down in the hands to get the outside lane. So how does Bates recover here? I'd say pretty well. You see him refit his hands inside, adjust his body so that he is in between Josh Allen and the rusher again, and hold it down so that Josh could hit Diggs down the field. I mean, this is a long developing play, and Ryan Bates does a great job of staying in the fight. Again, refitting those hands, as that defender tries going to the B gap right there. And it gives Josh Allen just enough time to get the ball off. All right, so on this play, it's a run play. Zach Moss probably should have scored, but watch the execution on the feed block by Ryan Bates. He needs to close that gap. Don't allow that defender to shoot that A gap. Get a piece of him. He feeds him to Morse. You see the hell of a reach block from Morse right there, getting his hips around 95. And then you'll see the ricochet from Bates. Boom, second level, locked up. So now he's engaged with Hightower. This is on Zach Moss. The fact that he trips over Bates, that's on Moss. I mean, you can't ask much more from Ryan Bates, or a.k.a. Rick Bates, on this play. So top to bottom, good feed block, scoops the second level, covers up Hightower, Moss trips over him. I want you to watch Bates. Tell me he isn't one of them. Pass pro rep. It's really good. He finishes near the line of scrimmage. It's what you want. But I think initially, as he's going to punch right there, they're taught to punch off the outside foot. Again, he is facing an inside shade, so he needs to get nose to nose. But he's a little aggressive in his punch, and his base gets a little too wide, and you see his pads come up as the power is inserted from that defensive tackle. But he does a good job of, look, dropping those hips, and then the hands. You saw the hands get back inside. It's one thing he's really good at, and the Patriots tried, chopping and moving his hands down, but you see him constantly working to refit those hands. Does a good job of that, and that's why he's able to settle in here. Right there, boom, he settled in. And again, still, the fight's still going on. That guy's trying to drop his pads, get up under him again. He does a good job of just locking him down. So initially, I don't like the punch and his pad level as he's punching, but he does a good job of staying in the fight, dropping those hips on several occasions, but finishing near the line of scrimmage. He's doing a great job here. Look where everyone else is, and look where he is. Really good work, aggressive work from Ryan Bates, and it allows Josh to make that throw to Isaiah McKenzie. Here's another three-man game by the Patriots attacking in the interior offensive line. So the centers and guards here, and this has been an issue this year because of all the shuffling along the offensive line, especially at the guard positions this year. But watch Bates, who's at left guard here. The Patriots are going to have the nose tackle spike into this A-gap. Bentley's going to dive and spike into this A-gap. And then Barmore is going to be the looper. And it's just good work from Bates. I love what he does here. Initially picking up Bentley. And then the violent pass right there to Morse. You see him violently pass him to Morse. Morse picks him up. Here comes the looper. And Bates is able to get a piece of him as Josh extends the play and hits Diggs down the field. So good work in the middle of the Bills' offensive line here, picking up that three-man pressure. The Patriots used a lot of 3- and 4-man pressures in this game. They didn't blitz them all that often, but they relied on moments like this where they run these 3-man games and stunts, and Ryan Bates did a good job, with all things considered, of stepping in there, communicating, and executing so that Josh can complete passes like that. So 5-0 protection, that means that pretty much everyone is manned up here against the Patriots. Watch Ryan Bates, kick slide wide to his guy, Lawrence Guy. He loops out to Deion Dawkins, and he's secured. Keeps his head on a swivel. You see the pass rusher that Morse is picking up is kind of slanting inside right there. Watch him help him out. Boom, block secured. Now look at this pocket for Josh. I mean, really nice pocket for him to throw, get rid of the ball, get it to Diggs for a 6-yard gain. Here's one rep from Bates I didn't like. It's against Barmore. Again, a very good pass rusher for the Patriots, and probably going to be a pain in the ass for Josh Allen for many years now. He's aggressive on this play, and he wasn't really aggressive with his punches in this game, but this is one rep he was, and you see what happens. He's got short arms. Barmore doesn't, and look how quick those hands are to knock down that outside punch by Bates. So I'd like for Bates to be a little more passive in his sets and with his punches, because when he isn't, that's when he can lose quickly. I don't know why it took so long for the Patriots to get Barmore matched up versus Bates, but they should have earlier in the game, because you can see the power overwhelm Bates on this play. It's a club move by Barmore, gets him into the gap, creates that separation, and he's able to pressure Josh Allen on this play. Watch him work over the top of Barmore, work to that play side number. Very balanced shuffle reach right there. And that allows Singletary to get up inside for a couple yards. So good athleticism on this zone run. And he didn't get any help. You see Morse have to peel off and go pick up Gacho. So good quickness and balance by Ryan Bates on this run play. Watch Bates along with the other offensive lineman on this play. They get downfield to help Diggs. And Bates is one of those guys getting downfield right here, picking up McCourty as Diggs is carrying guys for the first down.